Alright guys, another month has flown by, which of course means it's time to check out some of the best mods that have come out in the past month, which is a really fun thing we get to look at because today we've got some really cool stuff, including possibly one of the best armor mods to come out ever, or at the very least, one of my favorite armor mods. It's up to you to decide if it is for you. We also have some wonderful new weapon mods, some really cool and innovative ones that bring back some classic weapons, as well as some completely new ideas that we've never seen before. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do, consider dropping the video a like if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this, and if you're interested, you could consider checking me out on Patreon. More on that later, completely optional. Let's talk about the mods. The first mod we're checking out today is known as the Boston Riot Armor by Princess Aries. Now, a little bit before we get into the details of this mod, something I've been wanting pretty much forever is a set of Riot Armor for Fallout 4 that makes sense. Now, most people, when they think of the Riot Armor, they're thinking of the NCR Ranger Veteran Armor from Fallout New Vegas that has the Duster, super cool, super iconic, it's on the cover of the game, you know what it is. But to me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the East Coast. Why would you need a Duster in the woods? Just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I think a lot of people interpret the NCR Ranger armor as what the Riot armor actually looked like pre-war, and that kind of is justified considering that the Riot armor that you get in the New Vegas Lonesome Road DLC sort of mirrors that. Now, while that is what is in the game, and it is called the Riot Armor in the game, in my opinion, I think that was just a stylistic choice for New Vegas. I think that if we were trying to think about this a little bit more realistically, the Riot Armor itself, the pre-war component, is all the stuff under the Duster. That does include the helmet, it also includes the really cool chest piece, and there would probably be some arm pads and leg pads that we don't see featured on the NCR Ranger Armor. Well, now, we have a mod that does exactly that. So, sorry for the ramble, but Aries has done exactly what I wanted for my dream Riot Armor. And it comes in segmented armors, the same way you would see in leather or combat armor in the vanilla game. So you can wear a light, medium, or heavy set of the armor, and you can mix and match all of those pieces. So you can have a light chest piece with sturdy arms and heavy legs. You can mix and match how you want to. There's also a ton of customization beyond that, including some different color options, a whole bunch of unique versions of armor sets, which we don't really see that often in the vanilla game or mods even. And there's also a bunch of customization options for the helmet that completely change the design of it, and you can add different decals and stuff to change what sort of unit you are. If you are part of the Riot unit, there's even a bomb squad armor, there's Ranger armor, there's all kinds of really cool stuff you can get with this mod. This armor will spawn on the leveled list, so there is a chance that you will find this thing on Brotherhood of Steel members and Gunners after level 30. Additionally, one of the really cool things that's added with this mod is actually going to be a new NPC, which is Riot Armor Ghouls. Whenever you encounter ghouls, they might have Riot Armor on, and if you kill them, you might be able to find some armor on them. You can also purchase it from vendors, of course. And there's also an Under Armor, the Riot Police uniform, that can be found at any level on Gunners. That's a whole lot of word vomit, but just know that this mod was integrated into the base game in a very cool way, and you should be able to find this thing no problem if you're running a game traditionally. Now, for those of you who are downloading this mod and thinking, well, it is cool, but I still want the NCR armor, don't fret, there actually is an option here for you. While I personally don't think that the NCR has a place over in Boston, considering they are the new California Republic, some people want to mod their game that way, and while it may not make a lot of sense, it is modding and you can do whatever you want. Because of that, Aries has added a bunch of uniques like I mentioned before. One is going to be a massive bomb squad suit, but you're also going to get a couple Duster variants. Now there's the East Coast version, which is going to have a bomber jacket that's nice and heavy for a winter climate, but there's also going to be a new version that was added in an update known as the Sinner outfit, which is going to have that more classic Duster look that you would see in New Vegas. It's not one-to-one, but it looks like somebody who got a hold of a Duster, got a hold of some Riot Armor, and put them together. In my opinion, it actually looks really cool, and I think it's a really interesting update on the design for something that fits a bit better on the East Coast, but still reminisces of the original Fallout New Vegas design. Overall, it makes for one of the best armor mods, period, and it's going to have a permanent stay in my load order. It gets to be there right along the other great armor mods that exist. I love this one. The attention to detail is fantastic. I love segmented armors, and it has level-less integration. There's pretty much nothing else I could ask for. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to a brand new weapon. Now, this weapon is something that people have been asking for a long time, and that is a shoulder-mounted 20mm autocannon. A massive endgame heavy weapon with just an ridiculous amount of stopping power. We've done a 20mm gun ourselves, and we opted for a single shot before you have to reload. Not this one. It has magazines, and they can be upgraded into a massive drum. If you're familiar with my shoulder-mounted machine gun, this weapon is going to have a sort of similar design to that, where it's going to use top-mounted mags using the vanilla missile launcher reload system, and it works pretty dang well. And this part's crazy. This thing comes in automatic if you want it. It is semi-auto, but you can put on parts that make it automatic, and at that point, we're getting a little ridiculous. This mod is a massive, massive weapon. I would recommend it for use in power armor, but obviously you can use it whenever you want. But it does start to look a little ridiculous when the weapon is twice the size of your player. This thing is going to require munitions if you want to use the 20mm from munitions. Otherwise, you can use it with its own integrated ammo type that is going to be exclusive to this mod if you don't plan on using any other 20mm guns. However, if you want to use this and you want to use my PTRD and the same load order as sort of like a leveling system to 20mm, I'd recommend picking up munitions. That way they all use the same ammo type instead of being split across multiple ammos. This weapon is, of course, going to be added to the leveled lists, so you will be able to find this terrifying weapon on enemies, which means at some point it may be shot at you. You can pick it up on Gunners, Brotherhood of Steel, and it is added to the legendary loot pool, and those will all start happening around level 50. Fair enough that it needs to be pretty late in the game to get this thing. However, there's a little bit more. If you get the Remnants patch, it will also spawn on the Enclave power armor troops from the Remnants Creation Club content, and additionally, and this is a weird one, it spawns on gun traps. Now that's something that doesn't come up in my videos a whole lot, but you may recall that in Fallout 4, there are occasionally traps that are usually set off by like a tripwire or something that have maybe a combat shotgun or a double barrel, in some cases a pipe gun or a laser rifle, that are on sort of like a trap, and then you could loot the trap to get the gun. Very rarely in the vanilla game, you might find one with a missile launcher. I can only think of like one or two that exist in the game. Well, now there's a chance that it's this thing. I'm assuming that it's only going to be on the ones that have missile launchers, but I could be wrong. I don't really know. All I know is if you run into a trap that has this thing pointed at you, I would be very, very careful. Overall, a very, very fun weapon. It also does come with a unique, but it is a pretty crazy unique, sort of based off of something from Call of Duty. Not the weapon itself, but I believe the skin is very much inspired from the sort of pack-a-punch look from Call of Duty Zombies, and it's called the AC-115 Thresher, so I think it's pretty on the nose that that's exactly what he was going for. Either way, a wonderful, massive autocannon, perfect for something like the power armor we covered last month if you need something a little bit bigger to use in the endgame against some of those crazy, spongy enemies. But the heavy weapons train does not end there. We also need to check out the Tesla Cannon upgrade by Shiagur. Now, this is not a standalone weapon, which might be a disappointment to some people, but this is going to be one of the best Tesla Cannon mods in existence. It just requires Creation Club content. Now, thankfully, this isn't going to be paid for Creation Club content. As a matter of fact, if you've updated your game, you should already have this for free. This Tesla Cannon should actually already be in your game, just using vanilla animations and things that don't really make sense. Shiagur basically made the whole thing over again with brand new textures, custom animations, munitions support if you want it, completely optional, and for some reason, didn't make this a separate standalone mod, because I think they were using the base models as a reference, or at the very least, may actually use some of the base models. They've also added completely new attachments though, so it's a bit of a weird one. It basically makes a whole new experience for the Tesla Cannon, but it's still going to require the original Creation Club one. Now, if you have already updated, then it doesn't matter. You already have this. Download this patch, bada bing. You have a brand new Tesla cannon that's absolutely phenomenal. If, however, you haven't done that, you can update, get the content into your game, and then backport with some mods on Nexus, so you're using the old version of the game, but you still get the Creation Club content like I have here. I'm still on the old versions, that way all of my old mods still work, and I have the new content because I did update to the newest update for Fallout 4. So it's a pretty interesting way to do it. You'll get this content for free, even though it is Creation Club, and then you get a really wonderful new weapon with wonderful animations, awesome particles. Whenever you actually hit an enemy with this thing, it looks fantastic. Has super cool attachments available as well, and the reloads are just, they're perfect. I can't wait to maybe make something in the future that utilizes these reloads, so long as I can get perms from Shiagur. They look fantastic, and this weapon looks fantastic. With this, there's also some new matte swaps that allow you to make the Tesla Beaten from New Vegas, the one that has the big orange glow, and that's pretty cool too. Just adding more and more fun stuff to this wonderful, wonderful weapon. The Tesla Cannon is one of those really cool Fallout-y designs that I've always wanted for my game, and there's never been one that was quite up to par. Until now. Now we have something that is perfect, and it's one that I highly, highly recommend. If you have the ability to use this thing with the Creation Club content, I couldn't recommend it enough. Now, as we move on, we're going to check out a new melee option, and it's not even really melee. I mean, it is, but in terms of Fallout, it's actually unarmed in the sense that you're using sort of a fist-type weapon. I don't need to get into the semantics of why I think unarmed is a silly name for these, but it doesn't matter. You get a brand new sort of power fist, and it's going to be based on Liberty Prime, which is weird, but cool. I actually like this thing a lot. There's only one thing in it that is a little bit silly to me. The rest of it is fantastic. The base version of this weapon is basically Liberty Prime's fist, scaled down for the user, and when you punch, it actually does extend the hand out and punch people, and it's so cool. And that's the base version. It's just a gigantic fist that looks ridiculous on a player, to be honest, but it's still super, super cool. But it has upgrades, including a giant drill, which makes you look perfectly like a Big Daddy. I'm assuming that's what it was inspired by, because it's a giant fist with a huge Mondo drill on it that does more damage. There's also a super heated variant that looks kind of like a Mega Man blaster. It doesn't actually shoot any projectiles, but it does do energy damage when it hits somebody else, so that is the nice little buff there. And the final upgrade for this thing is going to be Liberty Prime's face stuck on the end of this thing. That, to me, is a bit silly, but only in the context of Fallout, because how did you get a hold of Liberty Prime's face? He's a pretty big guy. I don't think he would appreciate that very much. But outside of Fallout, I think it's funny, hilarious, it's super cool, and the idea that his big energy beam that normally comes out of his eyes is now mounted onto your fist is pretty neat. Again, no projectile with this one. It is just going to be even more energy damage than the previous one, but it is still a pretty cool weapon. Overall, a very fun and sort of sci-fi Fallout-y power fist. I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense for this game. Maybe not anything else, but in Fallout, you can do a lot of fun, wacky stuff like this. I think it would actually work really well with the Mechanist armor from the Automatron DLC, because it is robot-themed, and the colors and kind of bulbous shape of it, I think, would go really, really well with that armor set. So if you're doing something like that for your character, this might be a perfect unarmed weapon for you. If you want to get your hands on this, it is added to the leveled list, but not like in the traditional sense. It is specifically added to vendor leveled lists, so you will be able to purchase this thing, but you won't be able to find it on enemies because it's a pretty unique weapon. And when you do purchase it, it's only going to be available on Brotherhood of Steel merchants, and that's after level 20. Something else that's pretty cool is that this does use vanilla textures from Liberty Prime, because it uses mostly assets from Liberty Prime, if not all of them. So that means it's also going to be compatible with retextures. If you have any cool upscaled 4K or even just completely redone textures for Liberty Prime, they will also apply to this weapon, which is kind of neat. And it makes a match, and you know, that's just a nice little thing to add so you can customize this even further. Overall, a fun little unarmed weapon, something we don't see very often at all, so it's nice when we do get one to look at. And finally, we have the last mod of the video, a wonderful new rifle known as the Ranger Rifle M71 Manhunter by Princess Aries. Yeah, that's right, Aries got 2 mods in this month's video because they're both pretty dang cool. We got an armor, and now we've got a new weapon, which is going to be a 12.7mm bullpup marksman rifle. A pretty cool idea if I've ever heard of one. This thing's going to reutilize custom animations from the Bullpup Bozar to make a brand new, heavy sniper rifle with a really cool and unique caliber that doesn't get a whole lot of love outside of the classic New Vegas pistol. Now we have something that looks like it actually belongs pretty well in Fallout. It does make use of vanilla textures, I believe, as well as some remeshed vanilla assets and some assets from Spady. Now, this thing is going to work pretty much functionally as a DMR sniper rifle sort of role. You can equip shorter barrels, shorter scopes, but I think it's always in semi-auto, so you might want to slap a big scope on this thing and really push its potential to the long range. It works as a pretty good late-game rifle. It packs a huge punch, a lot of damage, and it's semi-auto, which is going to make it scale past the hunting rifle pretty dang quick. This thing is, of course, going to be added to the leveled list, so you will be able to find this weapon out in the world on enemies. It starts spawning on enemies like Gunners, Railroad Agents, Brotherhood of Steel Soldiers, and Raiders all after level 26, but you can actually pick it up a little bit earlier if you happen to find it as a legendary drop at level 20, or purchase it from a vendor also at level 20. Now, because this thing is in 12.7, that of course means it does require munitions. So if you want to use this, you will require munitions. I do not see a vanilla file available for this thing. Additionally, this thing also does have a unique. So if you want to, you can hunt down a unique that is actually going to have a sweet winter camo. It is a digital camo, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me for Fallout, but it is available as something if you want it. Beyond that, it is a pretty simple weapon mod. It has all the modifications you could ask for, tons of new materials, scopes, different stock options that completely change the way the weapon looks, as well as barrels, muzzles, all kinds of really cool, unique ones too. They're not copied off of anything because all of this is completely fictional, so you'll have something very, very different from anything else on the Nexus. Overall, a pretty fun weapon, and if you want to try it out, it will be linked down in the description below, along with every other mod we've talked about today. Every single one of those is linked down there, so you should go ahead and check them out and support the authors if you enjoy their work. Speaking of support, once again, if you guys enjoy these types of videos, drop it a like. It really helps with the channel and lets me know what kind of videos you'd like to see. It seems you guys like these monthly recaps, so I will continue them as long as you guys are interested in them. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and once again, consider checking me out on Patreon if that's something you are able to do. Specifically, those of you who wish to support me in a more direct fashion, Patreon is the best way to do so. You can donate any amount you'd like, but it is completely optional. Whether it's these videos I make here on YouTube or the mods I'm making myself over on the Nexus, if you'd like to support my work, that's the best way to do it. But it's not for everybody. It's completely optional. Not everybody can do that. If you can't, but you'd still like to support, there's plenty of other ways you can do that, like liking the video, subscribing, turning on the bell, all that good YouTube stuff, or just endorsing my mods on Nexus. If you enjoy my mods, that's a great way to help them out too. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy any mods that I have coming out soon, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!